Barnett's Custom Woodwork. Going to do a little unpackaging and maybe some setup reviews. Been debating on getting an oscillating spindle sander for a couple months now. I've been debating on a few different ones. I was looking at the Wind makes a decent one. It's more or less a copycat of the Shop Fox and the Grizzly, but I like the integrated of having the belt sander also. I looked at the Wind. They have a version of this also that has the spindle and the belt. It's like $50 cheaper. I've never owned a Wind product. I've never had anybody talk bad about them or anything, but I do know Ridgid products and their lifetime warranty. I felt it was good enough to pay the extra $50 just to get the lifetime warranty, and you do to get a little bit bigger table. So anyone that's not familiar with this, they sell these at Home Depot. I'm not sponsored by Ridgid or Home Depot, but I got some projects coming up that have a lot of curves built into them and whatnot, and instead of spending hours of hand sanding, I went ahead and went out and got me one of these. Also got some different sanding sleeves. It comes with 80 grit, which 80 grit's good to get close, but then I also have a 150 grit also. And then for the belt, I bought some, the smallest Home Depot carried was 120. I'll probably get some 150s also. 150 I really like. I usually keep a piece of 150 everywhere I'm at. I've got a piece with me, so it's a really good sandpaper. I like it. It's for my good go-to sandpaper. But we're going to make a little unboxing video. The unboxing part is probably going to be sped up because I know everybody don't want to see piece by piece come out, but I will we'll take this out and let everybody see and how it goes together and everything. So thanks for watching, and stick around for just a second and we will put this thing together. Alright, now we got it unboxed, which is exactly how everything comes out of the box, minus the sleeves being on the spindles themselves. So you get the sander, for the most part, is assembled. I'm pretty sure these are the little rubber feet for the bottom. We'll put those on here in a minute. Got 4 of them. You have 4 sanding spindles. The smallest one, I've seen the reviews that people have been complaining that this one didn't come with a spindle, but actually this one goes on the actual main spindle itself, and fits right there and does not require the rubber like the rest of them. So the smallest one is not going to have a rubber spindle with it. It's going to go directly on the machine, the spindle off the motor. You have 4 different washers for the different size, for these different sizes right here, as far as putting them on there. And then you have 4 different throat plates. Well, 5 if you want to count this one. That's the main throat plate. And then if you're using the smaller 2, you put that one on there, and it keeps your material from getting sucked down in there. That one would work for this one and this one. All the way up to the biggest one, which is that one, which would work for your biggest spindle. Keeps a nice, almost 0 clearance insert right there, so it's pretty nice for them to include all that. Those are snug in there. You see I'm having to slap them to get them out, so ain't no worry about them coming out. Also included is the spindle nut. Remember, this is reverse thread, so lefty tighty, righty loosey. Lefty tighty, righty loosey. That is so that the way this thing spins, it don't come loose on you. I've seen some reviews where people were complaining about, I can't get it won't thread on, or I can't get it off. That was the biggest one. I can't get it off. Well, it's pretty simple, people. Lefty to lock it, righty to loosen it. Hope y'all can see that. Left to lock, right to unlock. Pretty simple. Common sense. I know it's a superpower. Also included are 2 different Allen wrenches. Not exactly sure what those are for, but I'm sure we will figure it out eventually. The safety switch, like any rigid benchtop or stationary machine, has a safety switch, so take it out and the little kids can't turn it on, so just keep the kids out of the shop when you're not around. Works great. And the last thing is the belt sanding attachment. It comes with the belt on it. It's got a lever right here, tighten it up, and then this is your tracking, adjust where it rides so it don't fly off or whatnot. So we are going to also here, stand by. Alright, so what you're looking here is the bottom of the machine, and as I suspected, these 4 little rubber feet will go inserted in the 4 corresponding holes. It's not rocket science, people. They make this stuff pretty self-explanatory. Once you got those on there, oh yeah, nice. Alright, so first thing, this knob right here. If you loosen it, your table tilts. There you go. Nice, and it's got little preset stops at 0, 15, 22.5, 30, and 45. So if I need to sand something at 30 degrees, bam, right there. I don't know exactly how accurate these are because I haven't used it yet, but I'm sure they're pretty close for a sanding of an angle as it is. You can adjust the stop right here, so you could adjust that if you need to. One of my best hope y'all can see this. I'll do a close-up video here in a minute of all this down here and show you all the little places. But one of the things I like about this is my 2-inch, my 1.5 inch, 1 inch, 3/4, and 1/2 inch. All my spindles right there on the front, their own little cubby hole. Not only that, remember our throat plates. Looky here. They all have their own little cubby hole. Oh wait, it's not over with. All those washers that you thought you were going to have to keep up with, they're right here. You got a place to put all of them also. And trying to figure it out. Let's see here. They didn't make a place for these Allen wrenches, but well, they fit right there. Although, yeah, that's probably a screw hole to bolt this thing down. But I'm gonna put one on one side, one on the other, and still use the screw holes. I hate when a tool needs Allen wrenches and they end up in the drawer, and every time I need to adjust it I have to find them. So I try to keep mine with it. One thing I've really found really handy is putting a magnet to it, which this is not steel, but I could glue a magnet on here and then just stick it to it. That's what I got on my bandsaw. I got a big magnet that holds all my Allen wrenches. And spin it around. This right here is your work support for when you're using your belt sander, so that the piece don't come flying off the table. Simple Allen wrench key goes on right there. Also, your belt. So when you're not using your belt, it sits right there on the back of the machine. So everything has a place, except for this. What am I going to do with this? Well, when we put that on there, guess where this goes? Right there. So everything has its own nice little place, and you won't lose your accessories for it. I said that. Well, when that's on there, you have this. Oh, hang on just a sec. Remember my Allen wrenches I was complaining about? This is where it would come in handy to read the owner's manual. Looky there. There's a hex hole there. Way to go. And another one right there. They're there. So, the only thing I can't find onboard storage for is this little guy. Which, one of those things, if I'm using this is going to be down here. I guess, I mean, nothing's to say you can't use this while you're using your spindle. But if you're doing something on the inside, that'll be in your way. So, look at there. You always find somewhere to put the stuff. So, and there's probably, they thought of everything except this. When I do break down to read the owner's manual, I'll probably figure out where this goes. If not, it's not going to hurt for it to sit right there. So, that's what it is. So I'm going to get this thing set up, and then we will give you a little demonstration on actually it working. Alright, so here it is, assembled. The stand's not the greatest. I'll improve on the stand. It's a stand I had from something else, but right now it made a good stand for it because it's the only stand I had, but eventually it'll get something built for it. But right now this works. We have the belt on here. I'm going to turn it on and let you hear it and hear how loud it is and everything first. Not that loud. It actually operates really smooth and quieter than I suspected, but as you can tell, the belt oscillates too, which is different than just a regular belt sander. You get that oscillating motion. This knob right here, well, there's the lever. That's your quick release. That tightens your belt. This knob right here, plus, I've been playing with it, plus will bring it up. If it's riding low, it'll bring it up on the wheel. And negative, you turn it the way the negative says, and it will lower it. So pretty simple to operate. Just turn it on and play with it and get it riding right on this wheel right here. It says do not sand on this end of the belt, so you don't want to be down here sanding on this end of the belt, because what that's going to do is this wheel down here is the one that moves, which adjusts how it rides. So if you add more pressure there, it's going to change where the belt's riding. So you really want to stay right behind here is a nice solid piece of metal, so that's where you want to ride. So this is the factory 80 grit paper. We're going to turn it on and play with it and just let you see how quick it removes this piece of little walnut I have. So just like that, it cleaned up the end grain, or well, actually that's edge grain. Not the smoothest finish in the world. I will actually tell you, my fingers have little slits in them where I was spinning this paper trying to get this adjusted before I thought about turning it on to adjust it. I was spinning it by hand, and I'm used to adjusting my bandsaw and spinning it by hand and adjusting the tracking, and I wasn't thinking about turning this thing on and adjusting it. And yeah, I've got some little, like a bunch of little paper cuts on the end of my fingers, but you can see how quick that ate that away. But if you can see right here is, you can already see where the dust, and I don't have dust collection hooked up, but you can see it's going to be pretty messy. But right there, you're going to use more or less that part of the paper. So as you, over time, it's really not working good. What can you do? Take this belt off, flip it. You can use the top part too. So once you flip it over, you'll be working on this part instead of this part down here. I'm going to now show you how quick I can actually round this corner over with this oscillating motion. And just like that, as easy as you can be, we got a nice little radius on there. So, works really good. The only thing I haven't seen, they put a miter gauge in here. I haven't seen a miter gauge that come with it, which, honestly, if it came with one, I'm just going to lose it because I never use them. I'm definitely not going to use one on this. So, it's one of those things, it's got the miter slide in there, big whoop, but I mean, it's an added feature. That's one thing the Wind did not have, but it works. Now I will set it up for spindle sanding and show you how that operation works. Alright, so now we're ready to set up for the spindle sanding. I tried putting this on here. I grabbed the washer that kind of fit. I was like, okay. Threw it on here. I had my throat insert there. Put that there. I know I'm not the only one that's done this, because us guys, we don't read owner's manuals. But throw that down on there, tighten it up. It's all the way there. Spindle's not tight. Okay, this is where I broke out the owner's manual. I was like, okay, what washer do I need to use with what spindle? Come to find out, there's two the same size, roughly the size of this 1 inch. They're actually 7/8 OD. One of them has a 1/2 inch ID. It's the only washer that is 1/2 inch internal diameter. Very important. Anytime you're using a spindle, drop it on first. And then we drop our spindle on with our sleeve. And then put the one that is the size of the threads up here, that's 7/8 diameter, but probably about 3/8 hole in the center. The rest of them all have the same size hole. And tighten that down. Now, you want to tighten it down just until the sleeve itself, just like that. Give it just a little bit more. Oh, still sliding. Alright. That noise you hear is actually me picking the motor up. So, and that is that. The good news is, this is not the smallest throat plate. If you use the smallest one, you need to make sure you put it on first. But for 3/4 and a half, you need to make sure you put it on first. But 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inch, you can actually put it on afterwards. Remember the Allen keys I was talking about? Didn't know what they were for, so I figured it out. This throat plate has leveling screws in it. Has 6 of them. And as I was flipping through the manual trying to figure out which washer went on, I figured out that it had leveling screws. I hadn't paid attention to it. Simply lay a straight edge across here and adjust these until everything's nice and smooth. It's about a 30-second flow right now. Not bad. I'm not going to adjust it right now. I will eventually adjust it down, but right for now it's fine. Like I say, that's good and tight. The smaller Allen key is the one that adjusts these. The larger one adjusts this right here, or I guess if you need to change that, that is the stop for the belt that oscillates up and down. That is there's a bottom edge over here that catches on it. So the smaller one's the one that adjusts these. So, something quick. Yeah, I could do this. But that is not what the spindle sander is for. The spindle sander is for nice inside places. Now this is my thine, ever how it's said, I don't really know. This is my baffle that I've been working on for my trash can to go with my dust collection system. It really don't need sanded, but it's one of those things. This is the only thing I have inside like this. You'd have to sit here with sandpaper more or less. Before, the outside you could do with a orbital sander if you wanted to, but where it really comes into play is right here. So remember, this is spinning clockwise. So what's going to happen if I put this thing in here and spin it clockwise? It's going to grab it and spin it around. So I'm going to start and bring it to you. It's going to be a nice slow feed. It's kind of like a router. You know, you pay attention which way the router's spinning, which way you feed your material versus it's your handheld or in a table. It's same principle, just understanding that you're going to feed opposite of a router table as far as the way this is spinning. But we're going to just spin it just like this, and I'll turn it on and demonstrate that now. When you turn it on, if you're already, the piece is already inside, you'll make sure it's not touching it. So I'm clear of it. I originally started with 1.5 inches, which is what this was. Some places in here it was tight, so I dropped down to the 1-inch spindle, which is going to give me leeway as far as if I'm sanding, it's not going to be hitting the other side, so I don't have to worry about that double sanding properly. Okay, so you've seen what that, it was kind of difficult to move that around. So I'm going to go ahead and say, is that smooth? No, it's really not. Everywhere I've stopped, there's a divot in it. Now, one reason is 150 grit sandpaper, or 80 grit sandpaper. Really aggressive. I don't suspect once I put the 50 grit on there I'll have that problem, but any place that I stopped moving the material, there's a little edge in it. You can probably see right there, it's not as smooth. It's actually rougher than it was when I started, but it don't need to be. I'm not worried about it, but that is why I bought those finer grit sandpapers, because I don't want something so aggressive on the inside that I'm having to worry about it. So if you're using aggressive grits, the 80 grits that come on it, just be aware that if you stop for a fraction of a second, there's going to be this thing's going up and down at 60 oscillations a second. That's 1 a second. So you stop for a split second, it's done to aid a groove in the side of your material. So that's the reason I prefer a finer grit sandpaper on my spindles, especially. I'd be more happy with a, say, a 180 grit on here. They didn't sell 180 grit, they sold 150. It'll work for now. So now that you've seen the actual operation of it, we will wrap this video up and hope you've enjoyed. Alright, so at the beginning of the movie you've seen me cut the UPC coat off, and I said you had to have that along with your receipt to mail off to get your lifetime warranty. So it's been probably 6 or 7 years since I bought a Ridgid product, which was my table saw. When I did that, you had to have both these and all the previous purchases before you had to have these. So when I seen this little slip, I thought it was the piece of paper you had to fill out and send in with both these to have your lifetime warranty. But on the back is directions for registering it. Big bold letters at the top. It says no mail-in required, which I was like, ooh, it's awesome. I don't have to pay a 34 cent stamp anymore. Step 1, you go to Ridgid's website and you register the serial number on the back within 90 days of purchase. Step 2 has 2 options. The first option is send in a copy of your proof of purchase, the receipt, and your online confirmation that you get when you register your serial number. Option number 2, I like this one a lot better. Enter the code. This is the online option. Enter the code from your Home Depot proof of purchase, which is the number located right here below the barcode on your receipt. So it's the store number, some other numbers, the date, and some other numbers. So all that's right there. And then step 3, confirmation of coverage will be emailed once processing is complete. Maintain a copy of your proof of purchase and confirmation with your customer ID for records. So more or less you can do all this online now. So cutting this off the box was, it was useless. But I want to be safe than sorry. I didn't want to end up like I did with my shop vac and my first table saw and not get the lifetime warranty on it. So now you can literally do it all online, which is a lot better than actually having to mail this stuff in. So I just want to give a little update on that. So I know I messed it up first, so thanks. Alright, so this concludes our video on the Ridgid oscillating spindle / belt sander. It's going to be a great addition to the shop. I've wanted one for a really long time. I hadn't had the money or the actual, I've had the need for one, not the project saying I've just got to have this. I had some extra money and was able to say, okay, this project is the one I'm going to get it on. Finally broke down about $199 for the actual machine. You can probably find it on sale every now and then, or if you're military, you get a military discount or employee, something like that. So he'll knock a little bit of it off. But for $199 with a lifetime replacement warranty, it's not a bad deal. You will find yourself going to this machine all the time as far as using it and finding needs for it. It's like, oh, I need to send this little thing. No, I got a tool just for that. So thanks again for watching. Remember to like and subscribe this video, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for future videos and reviews. Also, please jump over to Facebook if you have Facebook, and Burnett's Custom Woodworks on there. Like us on there for up-to-date projects, sometimes live video feed and whatnot. Also, we're going to start an Instagram. It's going to be Burnett's Custom Woodworks also. And you can also jump over there and like us and follow us on there. So thanks again for watching, guys.